So today is going to be officially the Mylène Farmer concert vlog, because what better way to start October than to go to a Mylène Farmer show, which is what I did on the 1st of October. I went down to Paris to see her live at the Stade de France, which is the biggest stadium in France, 80,000 strong, and it was packed for 3 consecutive days. Mylène Farmer is a French/Canadian singer. She started her career in 1984 and has been going strong up until this very day. She is an absolute pop icon, and she is the only French singer who can fill the Stade de France for 3 nights in a row. It's been an interesting past few weeks for Mylène Farmer fans because several things have happened. First of all, the release of the live album for the live show Nevermore, the one I went to see. I'll put the artwork up on the screen. This is so glorious. This just says it all. Join me as we journey down to hell. Very appropriate for spooky season. Very, very appropriate. We also got the Mylène Farmer official Funko Pop released, which makes her the first French celebrity in history to get a Funko Pop. That's gotta be some kind of achievement. Also, I learned that this photo exists. So if you are familiar with my channel, you will know that I am a huge fan of Amélie Nothomb, and there is a photo of Amélie Nothomb and Mylène Farmer together. This came out recently when Amélie Nothomb gave an interview on Canal Plus, I think, where she explained how they met, and this interview was transcribed onto mylene.net website, and they put like the video and everything. So there is this iconic photo of Amélie Nothomb with Mylène Farmer, which just completely makes sense. That made me happy. So if there is one thing to note about Mylène Farmer, is that she makes the most amazing shows. Her shows are breathtaking, they are amazing, they are out of this world. So I've been a fan of hers since I was about 9 years old, when I was already drooling over the perspective of going to see one of these just amazing shows that she did at Paris-Bercy or at the Stade de France, where these huge stadium shows, and in my mind this was something that just happened to other people. I go to small shows. I'm a metalhead. I go to shows where there's like 1,000, maybe 2,000 people, small events with a very select niche of music to a very select niche of fans. But last year I got to go and see the show Nevermore in Marseille, and this year I managed to get a ticket for her show, one of her shows in Paris. And that is what this video is about. So the shows in Paris were kind of peculiar. So last year she was scheduled to do 2 shows in Paris Stade de France, but they both got cancelled because last summer in France there were riots. So both shows were rescheduled to end of September, plus an extra show on the 1st of October. So it was a very peculiar ambience, like waiting outside. It was very peculiar because it was like, this tour has already happened, but this is like really the final show of this just extraordinary, breathtaking tour. A lot of excitement, a lot of emotions. Around the Stade de France, it was just amazing. It was very, very different to the Marseille show because people just came out in their finest. There were people wearing costumes. Everyone was just going full out with their most amazing goth attire. The restaurants opposite the venue were playing her music. There was this great big screen where they were playing like one of her previous shows. I ended up being in line with this lady who, she wasn't a fan, but she'd like come to accompany one of her friends. And she was saying that like she didn't really want to go because she wasn't a fan of Mylène, it wasn't her thing. she kind of felt like she'd been dragged there against her will, but she couldn't even be like at the same entrance as her friend, but she was just really enjoying the ambience, really enjoying just the people, the singing, the emotions, just the general vibe of what was going on. It was extremely positive, just amazing. We also had really nice weather as well. Commiserations to everybody who was there on Friday, because I know it rained and I'm sorry. But we had a really, really nice day, and it wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. It made a change from Marseille, because holy hell, waiting outside the venue for 12.5 hours in the scalding Mediterranean summer heat with no shade, this was a lot nicer, I will say that. I also didn't get there ridiculously early because I just didn't feel like waiting outside for 12.5 hours. So I didn't get there at like 8 a.m. I got there at about 2:30 in the afternoon. But that, like, it was kind of interesting because the people standing next to me, I was still at the front, like at least of the section I was in, I was at the front. And the people standing next to me had been there since 8 o'clock in the morning. And I had a better place than them. So make of that what you will. So I can't show any footage of the venue in this video because last time I did, I got a copyright strike. So if you would like to see the clips that I filmed of the show, I put them in my Instagram stories. So I'll put my Instagram link here and in the description. So if you want to see the stuff that I filmed at the show, you can go do that there. The show Nevermore started touring in 2023 following the release of the album L'Emprise. And there were a lot of rumours about the name of the tour, Nevermore, because we know she's an Edgar Allan Poe fan. Like, there was obviously the references to Edgar Allan Poe, but there was also a rumour that this was going to be her last tour because she is 63 years old now. Like, she's been going for 40 years, which is insane. So I think, like, if she did want to stop now, nobody would blame her. But more on that in a bit. I just want to say a word about travel, because last year I had to go to Marseille, I had to take the plane and blah and blah. This time I found that the cheapest way to travel to Paris, I live about 3.5 hours away from Paris, the cheapest way to get there is by bus. So I take the bus now down to Paris, and accommodation wise, I found this really, really nice Airbnb that was really cheap. And honestly, I think I'm going to go back there every time I go to Paris for a show. I'm going to go back to this Airbnb because it was so nice. It's this little apartment in the top of a building, very recent building, and it was really quiet area. It was like just all families that lived there. It was like right next to a primary school, so it was all like families with small children. It was just so calm and quiet and peaceful. Lovely apartment, lovely, lovely owner. Honestly, I'm gonna go back there. So yeah, that's all I have to say about travel and accommodation. So I'd never been to the Stade de France before, and it is an experience. Like, being inside such a gigantic stadium is an experience on its own, and it is just so extraordinary to do a show. Like, if you're an artist and doing a show and having 80,000 people come to your show for 3 nights running, and like having 80,000 people just being there for you and singing your songs, that is achievement. Like, right there. The show starts with a screen showing an unkindness of ravens gradually approaching the front of the stage. They get closer and closer until they completely fill the screen, while the intro music just gets more and more intense until eventually they come together in this kind of twister, and Mylène appears with a pair of gigantic black wings to the song Du Temps, and then everybody starts crying. She then performs Peut-être Toi and Libertine on platforms that kind of swing her out above the crowd, while ravens throw themselves against the screen trying to break it, until at the end of Libertine she pulls out her revolver and shoots the screen, shattering it and revealing the stage and the musicians behind it. We then get introduced to the decor, which I've talked about before. This is just so extraordinary, like being like under the roof of a cathedral and staring down. How can I explain this? The stage is walled by cathedral walls, so top, sides, and we, the audience, are looking down from the roof of the cathedral towards what would be the ground, but is actually the abyss. There is a screen, like at the back of the stage, showing what is going on underneath the cathedral. We, as an audience, are looking down into hell. She then performs Optimistic Moi and C'est une belle journée along with her dancers. There was this guy standing in front of me who not only knew all the lyrics, like everybody knows all the lyrics, this guy knew all the choreographies as well. Like, he was putting her dancers to shame. That is how good he was. The costumes were designed by Olivier Taiskens. Thank you to everybody who told me that in the comment section of my last video, because I was an idiot and I didn't look it up. He was also the one who designed her glorious dress for the video Je te rends ton amour. Is about her leaving Jesus' love behind and turning over to the devil. This is all very appropriate for spooky season. And the visuals on the screen were just absolutely breathtaking. There were like visuals of the moon and planets going on for the songs Tristana and Rayon Vert. Lots of planets in her songs, lots of hell related things, lots of ravens, lots of planets. It was all very, very, very on brand. She performed the song Tristana standing inside a gigantic raven. When I say nobody does it like she does, this is what I mean. I cried so hard, especially during the song C'est une belle journée, which is a lovely song about unaliving oneself. And if you have ever suffered from that particular brand of depression, you know, like it hits really hard. The song Oui Mais Non, like, it was so cool. Like, there was, first of all, the wolf on the screen. It's like, obviously, like, having already seen the show once, I get why everybody kind of goes back to see her shows over and over again. So much goes on. It takes several goes to, like, take everything in and absorb all the details. There was this girl standing behind me when the wolf appeared on the screen. She was like, the wolf, lulu. As an experience, I completely recommend. And, bit of a surprise, bit of a change up for this show compared to the other ones, because Seal was there for the song Les Mots, which was amazing. I remember just being so obsessed with this song. It came out when I was a teenager and the video was all over TV. Like, we used to have this section where every day they would show music videos. This was like before YouTube. Like, today you want to watch a music video, you just go on YouTube and type it and you can just watch it. But back then we had to sit in front of the video section on TV on a specific channel. I think it was M6. And just wait for it, like, in hope that the video we wanted to see would come up. The not so good old days. So more crying from the audience. She also had glorious movie sequences during her song, especially for the song Que l'aube est belle, where there's this scene of her walking through a snowy desert when the camera turns and we see that her eyes are black and she stands in the snowy ruins of what we assume is a church or a cathedral before sprouting a pair of dark wings and setting off a firestorm. Very, very gothic, very, very beginning of Castlevania. I love it. I love it so much. I remembered this guy I met in Marseille who was completely unfamiliar with Mylène Farmer. The only reason he was going to the show was because his wife was a fan and he'd bought her the ticket as like a birthday gift. And he'd never been to a concert ever. And I can remember thinking, everything you're going to see, if you ever go back to other concerts, like everything you are going to see from now on is going to be disappointing. It does not get better than this. That sequence was so perfect, like, for the song, because, like, Colo Bebé is such an eerie song. Nobody does it like her. Nobody. And as the song ends, she exits the stage, like, right through the middle by just walking into the firestorm. Then we get the giant Grim Reaper. I have no words to describe how extraordinary this is. And she sings the song Que je devienne, which is accompanied by church bells, which just, just resonate through this cathedral decor, and she stands on an altar. So she performed Que je devienne, which is my favourite song on the album L'Emprise, and XXL, which is a feminist anthem, but more about that in the upcoming video about her inspirations. Obviously she performs Désenchantée, which is her most iconic song, with all her dancers wearing raven skulls, similar to the ones in the video for Fuck Them All. That's the name of the song, okay, YouTube, don't come after me. And the show ends with the song Rallumez les étoiles, anthem of hope, and announcing beautiful things to come. She exits the show by getting into this kind of like glass elevator, which takes her up towards the top of the stage, fills with smoke, and then disperses into ravens, going back to the ravens that came together to create her at the beginning of the show. I'm gonna cry again. And the word Nevermore appears on the screen. So like the word Nevermore is on the screen at the beginning of the show and at the end to kind of like signal that's it, that's the end. But this time, to go back to what I was saying at the beginning about the rumours that this would be her last tour, this didn't happen at any other show, but the never part of Nevermore, like the letters flashed out, and then just the word more was left on the screen. This may not be the end after all. I want to give a big shout out to the security guy at the end of the show who was telling us all to go to church. He was just standing in front of us being like, "You'll need to go to church now, all of you, after this show that took place in hell with graveyards and upside down crosses, you'll need to go to church. We're going to hell, okay? We're going to hell. I don't think that us going to church now is going to make a difference." I would like us all to take this moment to collectively remind ourselves of this statue of Lucifer in Liège Cathedral. I don't mind going to hell, I'm just saying. I also remembered one of the things that my dad told me about the Stade de France, because I'd never been before, but he had been to see the Rolling Stones years and years ago when I was a teenager, and he told me that one of the things that really kind of surprised him was how quickly the stadium empties, because it's 80,000 people exiting one building at the same time. But like I said, like I stayed behind a bit. I was kind of just waiting for everybody to go, and I remember turning around because I was like on the grass area, but I turned around and all the seating areas were empty. Like they just emptied in 10 minutes, which is crazy for a stadium that size. I thought that was crazy. I also thank my lucky stars because when I woke up the next morning in the Airbnb, the weather was miserable. I was like, why? I live in Normandy, it's miserable right now. I wanted to go out running, but I'm like, do I really want to go out running in this weather? Because I might like slip and fall over. Also wet, but I was like looking out the window at this grey smogginess and just spitting rain. It wasn't cold, but it was just miserable, and I was like, why? Like, I live in Normandy. Like, this is my weather. What's it doing in Paris? But I'm very grateful that it wasn't like that. On the day, we had really good weather. So thank our Lord in hell for blessing us with good weather on the ultimate day. It was really sweet on the bus as well on the way back, because quite a few people on the bus back were also there for the show, and it was just really sweet. It was a really sweet atmosphere. To be able to bring together so many people in such a lovely, nice, positive ambience is truly wonderful, and for all of this to just be achieved by one woman, incredible. She does not have fans, she has devotees, and I'm proud to count myself among them. I would love to hear your personal experiences of the show, of her music, what it means to you. Don't hesitate to comment, tell me everything. I want to know everything, tell me. I wanted to thank every single one of you for watching my video and for spending this time with me. Don't hesitate to like and share the video, it really helps me out. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.